All right, welcome everybody to Page Break. You're here with Brian. Rich is actually out today. He's usually here with us, but I've got author Richard Tilbury here with us, and he's got a book that's about ready to release. It's actually available on pre-order as we speak. The release date is October 23rd. The book title is Beneath the Manigolds. I'm sorry, Marigolds. My apologies. I've got Rick here with me.
By
So
the
Rick,
by the way by the
go
way,
ahead.
Brian, I didn't mention this to you, but today in the mail, I received my paperback copy of the book. So
Beautiful.
that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect timing. What are the
So,
odds? Well, that's great. So, Rick, if you want to just kind of give us kind of an overview of how this all began. I know you and I started talking when I was still coaching baseball back in the spring. I want to say April, probably March or April. We started talking kind of back and forth about this project, and you knew you wanted to get it done. So, just kind of share with the audience how this all came about from, the idea in your head to when you decided, heck, I actually need to publish this, and we'll just kind of go from there.
okay, I've always kind of had a desire to be creative, and after I retired from the corporate world, I went into photography, and I did landscape photography. Had a little studio set up and everything, and it got to the point where um, hauling around the equipment and everything was just getting too physical for me. And so I retired from that. And then I said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my memoir. So I sat down and I spent about 6 or 8 months writing my life story. And I thought I had a pretty interesting life, but I wanted to leave that for my family after I'm gone. And so I finished that and I wasn't dead yet. And so I said, well, maybe maybe I'll just go ahead and write a novel, and that's where this came about. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good experience to try to do something creative.
Right. Okay. So I know this, but obviously the people listening do not. Talking about your life and just, okay, what do I do now? You showed me a video of you doing something pretty adventurous a couple weeks ago, or at
Oh,
least
for my
you showed me the videos. Explain to the audience that you're not just a writer or a landscape or a photographer or whatever. So tell the audience what you did at the age of, was it 80? What
my
age
for
was it?
my 80th birthday. Yeah, my wife, my dear wife, took out a life insurance policy on me, and then she bought me a ticket to go skydiving. And so for my 80th birthday present, went up in an airplane 14,000 feet and jumped out. A perfectly good airplane. But I'm here to tell you the story, so it worked out
Yeah.
well. It was a
Well,
lot of
that's
fun.
great. Well, the funny thing is, there's heights are obviously something that a lot of people are terrified of, especially jumping out of something at the elevation of 14,000 feet. But a lot of people are also afraid of kind of wondering, hey, if I put something out there on a national level, what are people going to think? And you're doing both, at the age of 80 plus. So that's pretty fantastic. And I hope you can encourage others, or I hope those that are listening, feel encouraged. Did you have any?
You know,
Go
I
ahead.
was just going to add that I was kind of encouraged by my father. My father, when he retired, he was forced to retire at age 65, and he spent the rest of his life sitting in front of the TV watching reruns of Bonanza. And I saw that and said, "That's not how I want to spend, my golden years." And so I decided I was going to be wild and crazy and do some things that I'd never done before, and try to stay busy. How I got
Oh,
into writing.
yeah, that's pretty awesome. I know you're a godly man. What would you say to the audience from a faith perspective, as far as how has your relationship with God kind of came, like, how did you make that part of this story? And like, what would you want people to take away from that as they read it?
Well, yeah, that is a major part of my life. My life didn't start that way, uh, but I'm a lot like the main character in this book. His name is Elwood. So he went quite a while without really having any kind of faith at all. I followed his life. It's a lot like mine in that his faith grew. And there are certain instances that happened to him in his life that really solidified that faith. And so that's kind of where I am. I'm a mini Elwood. I'm telling my story through a different character.
Yeah.
But it's a made up story, but it still, kind of
Yeah.
applies to me in a way.
It's definitely got some good, meaningful lessons in there for sure. Now, as far as the writing process in general, so let's kind of circle back to, where we were back in the spring. I remember a conversation, and I don't remember it word for word, but it was basically, well, here we go. Like almost like the roller coaster or or, you jumping out of the plane, like there's no turning back now.
Right.
For people who have not published before, maybe some tips or some there's a lot of like uh-oh moments, you know what I mean? Or like, what's going on? Like, because if you've never done this before, you may think, well, I don't remember that, or I don't remember hearing about this part or that part, or maybe there's some confusion because you've never done it. And good friend of mine has always said, you don't know what you don't know. So as you were kind of going through this process of publishing for the first time, what were some of the thoughts of, was there some nervousness? Was there some, I feel lost? Or was it pretty much, well, it's all going to work out you know, the way it's going to work out at the end, or was there any sort of nervousness during the process?
The hardest part for me after the easiest part's writing the book. That was easy. I got that done in about 9 months. It was a long time still, but
Yeah,
I got it done. The hardest part was deciding what to do with it. So you go on the internet, and you try to research, well, who can publish it? What way should I go? There's different methods to publish it. And that was scary because most of the stories that you read about these different companies are really horror stories. When I came across Genesis, it sounded like it was a good fit for the type of book that I wrote. And you were kind enough to give me a call once I reached out to you, and we had a nice conversation, and you seemed to think it might fit too. And that was one of the best decisions that I could have made. From then on, I had a peace about me. Now, I'm not saying that I wasn't confused, because there was a lot of times that I had to contact you. You know that, don't you? A lot of times I had to call you up and contact you and say, "What in the world? What's
right.
going on?" And you were always very patient to let me know what. You soothed my mind, and I just knew that everything was going to work out fine after I signed
Yeah,
up with Genesis.
yeah. And the one thing that this is obviously for any author, the stuff that Rick is talking about that is one thing that Rich and I, when we decided to start Genesis Publishing House, was communication. And understanding that authors, it is a, maybe scary is not the right word, but it's unknown. You've never done it before, so there could be some moments where you feel like you're kind of in a dark tunnel. But I mean, Rick, you can attest to it. It not only, hey, I'm going to send you an email and I hope this guy calls me back. You would text me. I gave you my phone number, and I would usually text you. I remember one time I texted you from the baseball field when I was on third base. But between innings, you sent me a text, and I had a couple minutes. I looked down at my phone on third base, and I responded to you, and I remember that. So that is the kind of stuff that we, as much as we can, we want to give to authors, like yourself. And you were always very patient as well. Some authors very quickly will always expect the worst and get kind of, I don't want to say hothead, but they can be very gruff, if you will. Like, I don't know what's going on, what's happening, but we just try to always kind of walk people off the ledge and like, hey, everything's going to be fine. Let's get, we'll get this handled. And, authors like yourself who are easy to work with, of course, make that, a lot easier for us on the publishing side and production side. Did you have any parts during the process that you thought this was great? Like you really enjoyed it, whether it's the cover or going through the edits, any particular parts that kind of stood out that you really enjoyed?
I did enjoy the editing process. It was very detailed, and Viviana did a wonderful job. And I think we worked together well, over the internet. And the cover, it seemed to go a lot better than I expected. I was asked to give them like a vision of what I kind of had in mind, and so I did, and it came out really well. I think I
Yeah.
did one adjustment to it, and so that went really smoothly. And gee, I don't know. The hardest part so far is always the one that you're in the middle of doing now. Right now, we're trying to get the printer
Yeah. To
to do things
get
right.
them
But
done and
yeah,
and ready to get out there.
but I have a real peace about it. I know that I'm in good hands with you and Rich. If you don't have confidence in the people that are helping you publish the book, then you might just well cross that one off and go to find somebody else. But I
Right.
have a real good feeling about you and Rich, and I know that the whole thing's going to come out well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And we appreciate that. And we from the very beginning, you were always easy to work with, and so we always appreciate that. So now that we've got book one, for the most part complete. Tell the audience what, obviously what they could be expecting. Maybe you're here in the next year or year and a half or something like that with
Okay, after I had a couple of people read my manuscript before I, felt like it was finished, a couple of them said, "Well, what happened to so and so, and this and that." And so I decided, okay, well, I can maybe take some of the characters and write about them. And somehow I picked one character. I'm not going to tell you which one, but I picked one character and I brought it all the way back to the beginning. Of their life and brought it up to the current and made it both a prequel and a sequel. And for a
Okay.
while there, I thought I was biting off more than I could chew because I was juggling these different dates, but
Yeah.
I think I was able to pull it off.
Yeah, well, that's impressive. That would be, I think that would be a very difficult thing to do. That heck, that's almost like in a different dimension. That's like Star Wars. With them doing episodes. They did the middle three, and then they did the I guess they did the first three, then they did the last three in a crazy order. But
Yeah,
yeah, that probably would be difficult to keep track of. Lining up dates like you were saying, and events
yeah,
and things like
exactly.
that. So that's I would say that's
And
impressive.
when you write about a different era, I went all the way back to 1918, and when you write about a different era, you have to do some research and find out some of the things. And like I didn't know that they had electric taxi cabs in New York City, for instance. You know,
Yeah,
back that far back, and so I
yeah.
was able to put that in. But you do have to do some research.
Right. No, I'm sure, and that's the good part about writing. You can decide, being an author, you can decide what's important that fits for your story, and then you do the checking to make sure the accurate information is in there, and then you can tell your story how you want to. Well,
Mhm.
yeah. Hey, do me a favor, hold up that book again for the people watching to see. I know we've got people who just listen on audio, but
This is the paperback. I haven't gotten the hardcover yet.
yeah, it's a lot harder to tell, just on through camera like this, but it's a magnificent cover. Yeah, he just Rick did a really good job writing the book and telling the story. And yeah, we hope you guys all check it out. Rick, is there anything you want to leave? Any short message or any?
Well, I appreciate you asking people to order the book. It's my first book, but from what I can tell, so far it's already my best-selling effort so far.
That's a great point. Yeah, so this book, like I said, it's on pre-order now. It's on Amazon, pretty much anywhere books are sold. The book will be available to check out. So yeah, we're excited for the release. If you're an ebook person, there's an ebook version as well. So yeah, it's been a great experience. And Rick, I appreciate you joining Page Break here. And I'm sure we'll be in
Thank
touch
you.
in the near future. And looking forward to getting some good results with book one and then moving on to book two, my friend.
Thank you for having me, Brian, and say hi to Rich.
All right, I will. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, you can stay on for a second. Are you with me still?
Okay.
Yeah, just stay on for a second.
Yes.
So on the top of your button or the top of the this should say a percentage. Does it say like upload percentage?
99% uploading.
Okay. Don't close out of here until it says 100. Okay. I mean, honestly, at this point, since we've talked more, 99 is fine. But basically, we just want to make sure we had somebody yesterday. She did a podcast. Actually, she did a joint one with a friend of hers who also publishes with us. And ours and the other ones was at 100% upload. Hers was only at 84, and she didn't know. We didn't know that it was different. So we're working on some editing and try to make sure
Had
we
to
can get
do
it
it
all.
over again.
No, we're gonna be able to get it in there, but it's just taking some tricky editing. They're having to like pull clips from different spots and things like that. But yeah, it looks like I'm good here, which means you should be good here as well. So yeah.
Let me ask you, you say you put them on Spotify and places that I've never heard of, and YouTube and stuff. How do people find it?
So it'll be under our
Uh, where do you search for
podcast, not yours. So it'll be under Page Break, which we have a channel on Spotify and iTunes. I always say iTunes. It's technically like you have an iPhone just like I do. So like if you see the podcast or podcast app, it just says podcasts. I think it's like a purple icon with a microphone. If you search Page Break, we don't have all these uploaded yet. We're trying to do like 15 of them before we do like a mass advertisement about everything. But like I think there's 2 or 3 on there right now maybe. But anyway, so people that people that would come
I found one on YouTube, with what was his
Jay
name?
Jay
Sally?
Foreman.
Yes, I found that, and then I looked up page break on YouTube, and there's a whole bunch of different page breaks.
So we honestly on YouTube, because technically YouTube is not a podcast network. So, and I'm glad you brought that up. Technically, the Page Break podcast is under the Genesis Publishing House channel. Does that make sense?
Okay. Uh-huh. Publishing house.
Yeah, Genesis Publishing House. And then we've got some video trailers there and some author testimonials, I think, are on there as well. And then we'll add all the podcasts there as we get them combined and edited and all that. But yeah, we should have this done in the next 2 or 3 days, have your edited version and all that stuff, and I can give to you, and then have those shorts available as well.
Okay.
So
Very good. I hope I didn't embarrass you.
no, you did great. You did. It's funny you say that
I
because
hope I
like
didn't embarrass me.
the people that can laugh and not think it's so almost like it's a formal thing. This doesn't need to be a formal atmosphere. These are just 2 people that have worked together on a book.
I should have worn my hat like you did there.
You could. I wear one almost every time. And so we're not trying to make it look formal by any means. We want it just to be a fun podcast. But anyway, yeah, we're by far we're good now. So you're welcome to hop off whenever. But I'll get all this
Mine
combined.
still says 99%, so I don't think it
Yeah,
knows what comes after
yeah,
99.
99's good. So I'm gonna start getting this together, and I'll be in touch with you here in the next few days. Okay, my friend.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Brian.
All
Appreciate you.
right. You guys have a good day. We'll talk soon. All right.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.